there's been so many things that's held them down. But now old Dick Vermeer has finally brought them around. I know they've got so many yards to go, but where they'll end up, that's Super Bowl. And they won't let nothing hold them back. They done got their thing together.
From defense to quarterback. And I know they've been held down before, but this year they refuse to be held down anymore. And they won't let no team stand in their way. I want y'all to listen to every play, every play.
Ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move.
Ain't no stopping us now.
The Eagles got the groove.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move.
Ain't no stopping us now.
The Eagles got the groove. I know there's other teams that has a negative vibe, but if they get on the field, the Eagles will push them aside. I know they've got 10 yards to go, and where they'll end up at the Super Bowl. But they won't let no team hold them back. They done got themselves together from defense to quarterback. And I know they've been held down before, but this year they refuse to be held down anymore. And they won't let no team stand in their way. Oh, I want y'all to listen to every play, every play.
Ain't no stopping us now.
No.
We're on the
We're moving, we're grooving,
Ain't no stopping us now.
we're moving, yeah. They're grooving, they're moving, grooving. Jaworski can't be beat. Look at Montgomery, y'all. He's got happy feet. Carmichael's running right to the left. Jaworski pumps that ball right into his chest. Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. It is Thursday night, the final night of my week, and it is the last show before the Super Bowl. And got a jam-packed show here, which is football related here. A lot of stuff here. I got paper upon paper upon paper here. I think I have my picks here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So, end of the show, I'll give you all my picks for this weekend. And we will also uh, some of the happenings in Philadelphia, my hometown, leading up to the big game here, and we will get you guys prepared for the big game, what I like, and all that, and we'll get you going for the weekend, and we're about 72 hours away from when the trophy will be lifted, preferably by the Eagles. And I'll give you guys a couple of props that I like, and I'll give you the dreaded pick overall, and that'll be after these stories I have coming up here. Yeah, so we'll look at some of the things that have been going on in Philly over the last 24 hours, like what they're expecting over this weekend. The NFL's testing some technology during the Super Bowl. Interesting story about Howie Roseman. I found an article about computer predictions if you're a person that believes in that sort of thing. And then the dreaded picks. They will be last. So so we'll go from there. So I'm still I'm still looking at the Bleacher Brothers show. They're still going. That's why we're a little late here. Didn't expect them to be 3 hours tonight, 3 hours and onward after that. But let me see something here. Uh, I got an additional story here that's kind of Philly related that I'll add here as well. Um, so we got a lot to cover here. Sorry about that, yawning away here. Um, but we're ready to kick ass and take names here on this Thursday night here. Um, I'm also watching NFL Honors Awards because I want to see who's MVP, who's this, who's that. Some of those little things. It's probably one of the few award shows that I've invested in this year. I mean, Oscars, Grammys, all those shows, the Emmys. You know, everybody's so invested in those. I'm just invested in this award show, obviously, because if you were to ask me who's MVP of this league, I will tell you Saquon. But whatever. But um, but it is a Thursday night. We'll have our Philly Fade picks as well, and we'll see. So um, let's begin with what's going on around Philadelphia right now. And yeah, it is a week away. We are 3 days away from the big game. Less than that, actually. About 69 hours to kick off. And the city's getting ready because we do have a lot to worry about come Monday, and also probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, or maybe earlier if the game's a blowout. But um, some interesting things here. So the mayor today had a press conference, Aunt Viv, as I like to call her, because she looks and sounds like Aunt Viv from Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Um, so the city of Philadelphia is preparing in the event the Eagles do win the Super Bowl on Sunday. Um, and the thing is, the fans will be hitting the streets. They'll be hitting Broad Street. They'll be hitting Frankfurt and Cotman. And, you could be seeing an epic party that may be even bigger than 7 years ago, 7 years and 2 nights ago, when Big Dick Nick led the Eagles to an improbable win over the New England Patriots. Um, we you had all that you had all that going on. Um, it was a game that I was high on the Eagles ahead of time, and we actually had um, a bunch of you had a bunch of great opportunities to win. Um, and who would have thought that it would have been in a cold place like Minnesota that the Eagles would win the Super Bowl? Um, but the city's trying to avoid dangerous situations like the NFC Championship game over Washington 2 weeks ago, and rightfully so. I mean, I don't know how this started, but for whatever reason, the city of Philadelphia, we like to climb poles. I don't know why that is. So even me as a Philadelphian, I have no idea how that started. And probably if I Googled it, maybe it would come up, but I haven't seen anything that would tell me why that would happen. So, um, but yeah, very very interesting thing that they do, and you're going to see it happening, and and you don't want to. And also, if you're down there in New Orleans right now, don't climb any poles and don't go chasing waterfalls like Jesus Christ, like Taylor Swift does. That's a joke because they said that he was a um, so they're announcing the Hall of Fame right now. So Sterling Sharp made the Hall of Fame, Jared Allen so far, and we'll see that as I'll see the update as we go on here. Um, so the number one priority for the city of Philadelphia is to keep the city safe during a potential Super Bowl celebration this weekend. Mayor Sherelle Parker, Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel, and other city officials gave an update on the city's security plans for Super Bowl 59. And Eric Allen, former Eagle, has been elected to the Hall of Fame. So congrats to him. Um, the city's preparing for larger crowds than what they had the NFC Championship game. If the Eagles win Sunday, the mayor and the police commissioner are urging fans to celebrate safely, rightfully so. Um, Sherelle Parker said that, don't go climbing poles or anything else. Please, Philadelphia, I implore you as your mayor, don't climb light poles or anything else. Do I think will Eagles fans listen? No. They're going to climb poles. And it's going to be done. Don't know how it started, but it did. So we'll see what happens with everything goes on with the polls in case these guys do end up in the event that the Eagles do win the Super Bowl. So, but just going back to the breaking news, Josh Allen, um, I mean not Josh Allen, Jesus Christ, Jared Allen, Sterling Sharp, Eric Allen, and Antonio Gates are voted into the Hall of Fame. So congrats to all four of them. But going back to the story here, um, Philadelphia has already started setting up barricades along South Broad Street, and some businesses in Center City have boarded up their windows ahead of the Super Bowl. Yeah, because guy might climb up a pole, and next thing you know, he misses, and then he crashes into the restaurant or business. So, Bank, welcome in. Hope you're doing well out there. Oops, let me keep that up there for more than a second there. Um, the city couldn't stress enough for people to celebrate responsibly because of what happened after the NFC Championship game. Dozens of people were arrested after the Eagles punched their ticket to the second Super Bowl in 3 years, and another incident involved the fans shooting a gun in the air at Frankfurt and Cotman, which is not far from me, in Northeast Philadelphia. The city also experienced a tragedy during the celebrations when a Temple University student fell to his death after climbing a light pole. So that's another reason why Sherelle Parker, the mayor of Philadelphia, Aunt Viv, as I call her, is telling people not to climb poles. Philadelphia officials said there will be an all hands on deck approach this weekend with police officers around the city. So basically, you're on call. Ahead of the Super Bowl, Temple University, which is on North Broad Street, they reminded They announced they would have a heightened police presence around the university's main campus. Students were advised and reminded to plan to get back to campus if they decide to venture into Center City crowds after the game. Students are encouraged to refresh themselves with the Good Neighbor Initiative. Celebrations that involve violence of any kind, damaging property, or littering in our community will not be tolerated. And also, the city of Philadelphia will also be backed up, will be supported by state police and the fire department as well. Drones and tactical operations team will also be deployed. SEPTA will also work with police to help control the size of crowds during celebrations by preventing people from boarding trains at certain times. So I guess that's especially on the Broad Street line, which is directly underneath where fans may be celebrating Sunday evening. The city did not reveal for tactical reasons if police will be greasing poles, but the mayor repeatedly urged people not to climb them or anything else. Come on, we know they are going to grease the poles. And if you're going to grease the poles, grease them with something that will ruin clothes like motor oil or something like that. Something that will get on your clothes and it's like, ah shit. That's what you do. And I would definitely encourage them to do that so that you know if you want to do it, use something that will ruin clothes, not anything clear or anything like that, or anything that'll stink. Get something like motor oil, and next thing you know, boom. Now there may be reports. Um, you may not necessarily see it from BleacherBrothers.com, but there are sites that are Philly centric, like a Crossing Broad, some of those other sites like that that are Philly related. They will probably be showing people with a paint roller going around the city with those poles and putting grease and whatever they want to put on there. So don't be surprised if you see something like that over the next couple of days. But I'll tell you what, um, it's really an interesting time here for the city of Philadelphia, and that's just one story of the things that have been announced or going on here in the city of Philadelphia in the lead up to the big game on Sunday evening. Um, I also did see here um, there was a third story here. I do not have. I thought I had these in the right order. I don't. Um, I do apologize for this, everybody. Well, I do see another story that's Philly related here that we will get to as well. Now, one thing that I will share here with you, this is going to be off of my Facebook page, and if you're Facebook friends with me, Brendan, welcome in. I hope you're doing well out there. Um, I'm going to share my screen here, and if you're a Facebook friend with me, you did see this today. We have a Chiefs bar in Philadelphia, and this is a Chiefs bar that has been in existence for 50, 60 years. I mean, it isn't just something that just happened overnight. It's been there for decades. And this is according to, and I am going to zoom in on this so you can read this. So in South Philadelphia, there's a Chiefs bar called Big Charlie Saloon. And I got this from diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan. Well, actually, it was somebody that shared it, and I shared it as well. So, Big Charlie Saloon, a beloved hangout for Kansas City Chiefs fans in the heart of Eagles territory, will close its doors for Super Bowl 59. It's located at 11th and McKean, which is South Philadelphia. The bar announced its decision on Instagram, citing safety concerns for patrons. The owners explained that with potential chaos following an Eagles win, closing the bar would ensure fans could get home safely. This decision follows a similar move during Super Bowl 57, demonstrating Big Charlie's commitment to prioritizing the well being of its loyal customers over profits. And I'm going to see if I can pull that one up here. So I'm going to stop sharing for now. You're going to see my face here. Let me go back here. So that Kansas City Chiefs bar is a place that they will go to um, all the time. You have a bunch of Chiefs fans there. Um, so let me go here. Um, Let me see if I can find it here. Um, um, uh, okay, yeah, so they're going to be completely closed. And you know what? I admit, and Mike saw it on Facebook because Mike is in the inner circle there. Um, but you know, sometimes you do have to take other. You have to look at the outside as well, and um, you could probably have a private. You could probably have a private event. But even with the private event, you probably have issues because you probably have a couple of Eagles fans that sneak in to that private event. So, that's going to cost a lot of money to them. But, truthfully, um, I'm sure that they could end up having a party the next night or something like that. I don't know. But that was something I saw this morning and I shared it, because I have this habit now where I wake up in the morning, I grab my phone, and I end up scrolling for like 45 minutes looking for funny memes and stuff like that because I just don't feel like getting out of bed. But that's just me. Uh, but one last thing that's Philly in the city of Philadelphia, but I do have a couple of other Philly centric stories here. Um, Philadelphia Philadelphia public schools will not be opening late on Monday as of right now. I'm adding that part to it. Now, when the Eagles lost to the Chiefs 2 years ago, the school district gave students and staff a pass and called for a 2-hour delay to open classes post Super Bowl delay. In 2018, when the Eagles won, the next day was a regular school day. So, Superintendent Tony B. Watlington Sr., who is a former history teacher, he noted and is apparently superstitious. In keeping with the winning tradition, he says in a video message, we will not have a 2-hour delay on Monday, February 10th. Schools will operate normal schedules. And Alex Ovechkin scores a goal there. I know, I think get my bots and everything set up here. Um, And Watlington also encouraged staff to wear green on Friday. Duh. I would do that too. Watlington said, I hope all of you enjoy the game with friends and family and cheer on our Eagles safely. And I look forward to seeing you back at school and work on Monday. Some districts, including Upper Darby, Gloucester City, and Pennsauken. Upper Darby's in Delaware County, just south of the city. Gloucester City and Pennsauken, which is in New Jersey, they have called for delays already for Monday. And Mast Charter School, MAST, Mathematics, Sciences, and something else. That charter network in Northeast Philadelphia is giving everyone the day off. Now, I'm going to say this. I think what's going to happen. So let's pretend the Eagles win. Because we've not had many snow days, and it may be dangerous here because I did see the other day, and let me just take a look at the weather app here while I'm talking to you. Um, it's supposed to snow Tuesday and Wednesday, ice and sleet on Thursday, snow on Friday, rain on Saturday. So the kids may be stuck with going to school early. Now, the only problem is going to school early, you know, you may have, I mean, if the Eagles win and you say, "Oh, we're totally closing school that day." Let's pretend that happens. If that happens, you got all this bad weather coming next week if it happens. Because remember, we're still, I mean, we're a minimum 6 days out. So you're going to see all kinds of weather problems next week, and who knows when they'll get the parade in if the Eagles win. Because you just had one bad day of weather in Philadelphia when the Eagles won in 2018 after the 2017 season. You're going to be looking at pretty much all week having bad weather. And it's cold winter. It happens here in the city. So I wouldn't be surprised if the city does completely shut down schools on Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear with the Eagles win, all Philadelphia public and parochial schools are closed. So don't be surprised that happens, especially if you're here in Philadelphia. Um, or maybe they give the kids off the day of a parade. Because I can tell you one thing, getting to work in 2018 after the 2017 season and after Super Bowl 52, it was an epic shit show. I mean, you think this show's a shit show? Trying to get on and off a completely packed train, and we're talking Japanese transit type packed train. I mean, you hear all about it. You've seen it in the news numerous times. I mean, you are packed completely, nowhere to move, nothing. So I think they may sacrifice the fact that the teacher attendance will probably be way down because many teachers in the school district of Philadelphia will be too hungover to work. The kids will probably be staying home because the parents are probably too drunk to get their kids up in the morning or too hungover. I mean, seriously, it's not often that the city wins a championship if it happens on Sunday. But I will tell you this, I wouldn't be surprised if the attendance records are very low on Monday, not only for the teachers, but also the students. Because if this city partied like it did 2 weeks ago, what's it going to be like after the game? It's going to be epic. It really is. So I just think that you're going to see something that really could be amazing. And, if you have a smart TV, you may want to flip over to Philadelphia local news on your smart TV because you'll be able to do that and you can go from there. So, um, but yeah, it will be and if the Eagles lose, which is very possible as well, you could be definitely looking at a lot of issues as well. Um, but I think jubilant Eagles fans will be much better than pissed off Eagles fans, if you ask me. But anyways, so that's the um, so that's the information within Philadelphia proper. Couple of additional stories here that are Philly related. Um, Wrexham Football Club, which is partially owned by Prep alum Rob McElhenney, also owned by um, um, Jesus Christ, I can't remember Ryan Reynolds. They're going to have a Super Bowl advertisement featuring Hollywood superstar Channing Tatum for their stadium sponsor, Stoke Cold Brew. I think that's Stoke, right? STOK. Um, in their advert featuring Wrexham stars Ollie Palmer, Paul Mullen, Jacob Mendy, Jack Marriott, and others, Tatum challenges the team to improve their goal scoring celebrations and offers choreography suggestions. This ought to be a good one. And this is probably a Super Bowl. I'm probably definitely going. Well, this is definitely a Super Bowl. I'm going to record onto my DVR. Um, McElhenney and Reynolds said in a statement, "We're so happy that three of the stars of Deadpool and Wolverine will be able to work together again and bring this ad to life for our incredible Wrexham sponsor, Stoke Cold Brew Coffee. We will take no further questions related to Rob's actual screen time." Um, So this is the second year running that Wrexham has a spot in the sought-after Super Bowl advert lineup following last year's Stoke advert that showcased acting legend Sir Anthony Hopkins as the club mascot Rex the Dragon. Tatum's advert, titled Hollywood Magic, will stream on Fox Sports and NFL apps during Super Bowl 59 on Sunday. And now I gotta watch. I still have the Super Bowl on my DVR. It's probably going to drop next week. I might have to watch that game now and the commercials because last year I was in Las Vegas for the game. I stayed around a couple extra days because I was trying to meet up with friends. So what I did was I watched the game from the Excalibur, and for the most part, you can't take note of the you can't take note of the commercials or the game itself, even though you're paying attention to the game. It's really loud, and I I said on the Bleacher Brothers show tonight that Excalibur, where I watched the game, it was 90% San Francisco fans. So, but yeah, it was a interesting experience, and maybe once again I will do that, but it maybe I do it again. I don't know, but it's something I would definitely, you know, uh, I definitely have to rewatch the Super Bowl now because I have to see that commercial. So, one person that will not be attending the game on Sunday is Philly college basketball legend Dawn Staley. Well, she was planning on going to the game, but things changed rapidly over the last couple of days. Um, South Carolina, Dawn Staley, who played at Dobbins Tech in North Philadelphia, she was born and raised in Philly, noted super fan of the Eagles, probably will be in Eagles gear on Sunday when they play in Austin. Um, but with the Eagles playing in Super Bowl 59, Staley will not be able to attend the championship due to President Donald Trump's visit. Staley had planned to fly to New Orleans, but told reporters Wednesday that she would not be able to since the airspace would be closed in anticipation of the president's flight. Under FAA rules, Federal Aviation Administration, which is still around after all the shit that Trump's done, airspace activity is limited when the president is flying. Um, Staley told reporters yesterday via the Greenville News in South Carolina, and I'm not going to the Super Bowl. Trump is going to be at the Super Bowl, so they closed the airspace. Party here, though. So she'll be partying, probably in Austin. They'll be in Austin when they face number 4 Texas. South Carolina's number 2 in the women's poll. She had planned to fly to New Orleans after the game, but will now have a change of plans. Trump's going to be the first sitting president to attend a Super Bowl. His attendance at Sunday's game will increase the security at Caesar Superdome, which was already significantly heightened in the wake of the terror attack on Bourbon Street on New Year's Day. So, um, and I don't know what this is from. Um, um, okay, so Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and tight end Travis Kelsey both expressed their excitement for Trump's attendance. Will be. Um, Kelsey called Trump's presence a great honor, and Mahomes called the experience cool, noting that Trump has referenced Mahomes when asking which team would he be rooting for. It's cool to hear he's seen me play football and respects the game I play. Mahomes said. Staley is a lifelong Eagles fan, is known for wearing Eagles gear on the sideline during key parts of the team's season. She sported an Eagles visor in Wednesday's practice, sharing a message of support to her fellow fans. So Dawn Staley will not be in attendance. I imagine they're just going to stay over in Austin and fly home after the game's over. But it's things are starting to get close, and I mean, she was on a tight schedule anyway, uh, because I think that game. Let me look this up here. Um, okay, that game on Sunday. Um, South Carolina and Texas starts at 2 o'clock. The game would be over by 4 unless it goes overtime. So she would be cutting it close if Trump was going there. Um, so yeah, it's I imagine that the team will just stay there in Austin towards the through the end of the game, and then fly home afterwards. So, or maybe they watch it on the plane. I don't know, um, but yeah, it's an honor that you know. And the thing is, I think if we had somebody other than Donald Trump as president, as a Republican, I don't think we would have as big of a problem or as big as a divide with oh, bleep him. Why is he going there? Oh, it's an honor for the president be there. Because if you had a mentally normal person as president, and you could throw Joe Biden in there as well in a different light because, we know Biden, his brain has decreased rapidly once he took the oath of office. Um, I think that you can look away from some of their policies and stuff like that, but you can't do that with Trump. And I'm sure there's going to be some people that wish he never showed up, some people that did show up, you know. Um, but it's definitely something, you know. I don't know if Trump is doing this for his ego. I don't know if he's doing this because it's Kansas City. I don't know it's because the Mahomes are a major they support Trump overtly, but you know, Trump's going to be there, and I imagine he will. Well, he's also it's a Super Bowl site where a state, the state of Louisiana, voted for him. So, um, so I imagine that you know it is politically motivated that he is going to be there. So, yes, it is the first. It's first time for a president to attend a Super Bowl. That is correct. Uh, now, uh, now, one place I know Trump will not be is Tampa Bay Downs on Saturday. I'll be there mentally, but not physically. And you can see my picks on Saturday on Also Eligible, starting at 10 a.m. on the Bleacher Brothers platforms, as we will look at Tampa Bay Downs this weekend. They have um, a Kentucky Derby prep race to Sam F. Davis. I think they have five. I think they have five races on the card that are stakes races. So I think we're going to look at all five of them. It is a little bit disjointed this Saturday because you got stakes races in the fourth and fifth races there at Tampa Bay Downs. Um, um, I'm sorry, the fifth and the sixth, the Pelican and the Minaret Stakes. The fifth race is 6 furlongs on the dirt. Sixth is the same. The sixth race is for fillies and mares. The fifth is an open race. And then you move ahead to the ninth race with the Suncoast Stakes. That's on the dirt. The 10th race is a maiden race. Then the 11th and 12th, the final two races of the day, the Sam F. Davis, that is for 3-year-olds going a mile on the 16th. You do have a potential headford there in Owen Almighty. And actually, there's four stakes races. I stand corrected. But final race is a allowance turf race going a mile and an eighth. So we will have four stakes races on the card. So we're probably going to look at all four races, and we will go look at those and go from there. So um, I'm just looking at something here. Um, okay, so Josh Allen was voted the most valuable player. Okay. I would argue Saquon, but you may think it's a little biased because it was an Eagle, but I also feel like um, would be nice to get away from it being an um, from being a quarterback award, but that's a topic for another day. Now, you won't be noticing this on Sunday, but this is definitely something that could come into play next year or 2026. The NFL will be testing state of the art technology to help spot the football. Um, on Sunday in Super Bowl 59, Ron Torbert, who, by the way, is undefeated, where the Eagles are undefeated with him in charge of the game, him and his all star crew will officiate the game between the Chiefs and Eagles. They'll spot the ball, assess, with the help of the chain gang, what is and what is not a first down. Meanwhile, in the background, the NFL will continue to test state of the art technology that may not just regulate the chain gang, but eventually could see an end to those officials, end to officials spotting the ball altogether. I know what you're saying. Huh? Now, Caesar Superdome will be outfitted with what's called Sony Hawkeye's Skeletrack system. It's a 14 camera system that specifically monitors more than 2 dozen skeletal points on a player's body. That system, along with the chips in the footballs and the 18 other specific cameras strategically placed around the stadium, can all be combined to harvest a fully computerized model that potentially tracks where the ball is when the players are down, if someone has achieved a first down, or if they have scored, or if they have a tough decision as well with where to spot the ball. I imagine that's the case as well. So they've been working on this Hawkeye technology since 2021. Um, the league still needs a time for the technology to advance before even considering implementing a system that's still in its development. So the one thing is, if you think about it, the way that they do things here, it isn't that you just put it out there and have it fail. That's the worst thing that could happen. What you want to do is you want to test it for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, because you got 22 bodies on the field, and you're not going to be able to. There's going to be glitches in the system, and there's going to be times where if the system doesn't work, you're still going to have to go to the old way of doing things with the guys on the chains and all that stuff. Um, Kimberly Fields, who's the NFL Senior Vice President of Football Operations, told CBS Sports on Monday, I would say in a few years, and the reason why I say this is because where we would like to get to, we still have a bit to go. So they're working on this, but I think that they want to make sure this does work, because you don't want to put something out there that is an abject failure. You want to make sure you've tested this year over year, all the arenas and all that, and make sure that this stuff works. Um, Given all the technical and operational variables in play, the NFL cannot confirm this technology will ultimately be possible, and there's no specific timeline on the development of the tech. So, if I'm reading that correctly, it's possible that they run this and it never makes it to the NFL for the public to know that, hey, we're using this stuff now. Um, and even if the technology finally arrives at a place where computers could replace officials spotting the ball, there will still be a major question of whether the NFL and team owners will have the appetite for making such a switch. Will they? Who knows? We don't know. Now, beginning with the 2023 season, the NFL started testing the virtual line of game technology at a few stadiums before making public its intentions to test it in the 2024 preseason. The hope was virtual line to gain would become a primary way to measure a first down conversion, but the technology and the processing using it hit some road bumps in the preseason and couldn't be implemented during the season. That technology does not track the ball, though, which has become a common misconception around the league. The ball has a chip in it, but that does not interface with the six cameras used for the virtual line of game technology. So you're probably going to have additional technology just for tracking the ball through a computer. Um, so they're going to have those six cameras I mentioned, plus 12 boundary line cameras, plus 14 cameras for the Skeletrack, will make a total of 32 cameras that could eventually be at all 30 NFL stadiums, creating a camera ring around the stadium that gives you a complete view of what's going on in the field. It's fascinating. Now, Hawkeye has the Hawkeye technology has been used for years in tennis, and let me tell you, within 5 seconds, or not even that, boom, done. We have the decision. Challenge has gone through. The challenges um, the challenge has gone through. The challenge has not. I know I'm not using the correct verbiage, but whatever. But um, and they also use it in some soccer leagues when the ball crosses the line for a goal. Now, Major League Baseball has used Hawkeye for a potential future automated strike zone. The NBA is now in its second year with the technology. Um, at his annual Super Bowl press conference on Monday, Roger Goodell said using technology to determine first downs is complicated. Obviously, having a lot of humanity that interferes potentially with some of that, at least from a camera angle standpoint. But you also have a shape of a ball that is different. It's about where the ball is, not where the individual is necessarily. So there's a combination of factors there. But I do think that technology will exist sometime in the future. We're continuing a lot with our partners. It's how to advance that as quickly as possible so we can get to that place. Um, Now, they did have some issues in the 2024 preseason. A minutes long process in the Giants Lions exhibition game showed some issues with the system, which had its problem in tennis in past years. Um, the NFL kept using it in the background of games within the league's officiate center in New York. Over time, the league saw success. We went from about 75 seconds on chain measurement, and we were able to get it down to about 30 seconds by the time the season was over. So we shaved about 45 seconds of game administration time just from going from a physical chain measurement to a virtual chain measurement. Um, this offseason, the league's football operation group plans to recommend using the virtual line to gain technology as the primary measurement system for next season. Competition committee support is required for that to become official. Goodell said, anytime the league introduces new technology, the top two considerations are accuracy and reliability. He wouldn't want anything implemented until you think you have it right. And you can't just have it go out there and the next thing you know, it doesn't work. You just can't do it. Um, um, Now, what's interesting, even though we disagree with this, the virtual line to game technology the league has used in the background since 2023 would not have changed anything related to Josh Allen being stopped short on 4th and 1 early in the fourth quarter in the AFC Championship game. I think, if you look at that reverse angle, he had that first down. And I think because I had the volume down. I think that both Jim Nance um, and Romo, they both had that. Tony Romo, they both had. They both said it was a. Um, they said it was a first down as well that wasn't called. Um, but there's still the question whether the NFL would allow such critical calls to be made by computers and not by humans wearing the stripes. That's a big question. I mean, my God, look at, you know, I mean, look how computers have taken over the world in general. I mean, you can go to the supermarket and you have checkout aisles which are self-made. They're not manual. They're not with a regular cashier. I mean, that's apples and oranges, um, um, but it will be interesting because um, you may not have any. You may not be able to um, determine if there was a first down or not. Um, Now, in theory, right now, an efficient, reliable computerized system could help properly spot the ball for the Eagles' tush push. Philadelphia has attempted that 47 times this year, and they have been successful 38% of the time. But the massive humanity, to borrow from Goodell, can sometimes make accurately spotting the ball next to impossible to the naked eye. So yeah, so that may be something here. Um, Now, the Skeletrack system was in just 5 stadiums this season for a number of reasons. Um, though the system is costly, the bigger issues have been is that every stadium is different. There may not be enough fiber or power to enable the cameras, and not every stadium is a football-only facility. Um, the system was set up at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, AT&T Stadium Dallas, or actually Arlington, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, and Caesars Superdome, with more likely to come in the 2025 season. And if you think about it, since Caesars Superdome is still around, is hosting the Super Bowl, you might as well test it in a game like this. So it makes sense. Um, Now, this says that the chain gangs are likely never to go away. Players, coaches, and fans still need the visual to generate to the general line of game, and the NFL still needs a backup plan in the event technology fails. But all signs point to virtual measuring being the primary means this upcoming season. So, um, as long and the thing is, we opened that Pandora's box many years ago with instant replay, and it just gets more and more of a case here. Um, so we're probably be around next year, and we'll probably see something at the spring meetings, summer meetings that they actually come up with something here. Um, I did see this today, which was interesting about Howie Roseman, and I'll tell you what. Sometimes networking is a good thing, and Howie Roseman did that, and you can see it has been paying off over the last 5, 10 years with the Super Bowl win in Super Bowl 52 and other things going on. So General Manager Howie Roseman has sought wisdom from his counterparts in other sports leagues. So obviously, you want to get an edge somehow by any means necessary, and that meant going to different GMs that have been successful for many years. Um, uh, Howie Roseman said at the Superdome on Monday, "You just try to talk to similarly situated people. You try to talk to people who understand. Maybe you're not asking. Maybe you're not asking, hey, do you think I should sign a player? But more just, hey, this is what I'm thinking from a big picture perspective, and they get that. So that, you know, that does make sense. The Spurs won 5 championships in a span of 15 years under R.C. Buford, including 3 and 5 seasons from '03 to '07. Roseman has found that leadership strategies can translate well from sport to sport. Um uh, Decoyed welcome in. Isn't it crazy the Eagles are going to lose to the Chiefs again in the Super Bowl? Mm, I would be a little worried about the Eagles. I'll just say that. Um, the Eagles got no coordinator. Well, they may not have a coordinator on Monday, but last I checked, they do have Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio right now. Um, Now, going back to Howie Roseman here, uh, okay, you meant quarterback. Okay. Even so, I will say this. I don't need my quarterback to run for 100 or 150 yards like um, Baltimore's quarterback, Jackson. I don't need him to do that. Um, I don't need him. I don't need Jalen Hurts to throw for 400 yards. I just need him to do. I just need him to manage the game. And some people have said this all year. I've said this all year. A couple of guys would vouch for me here. I don't care if he throws for 300. I don't care that he throws for 50. I don't care that he runs for 100. I don't care if he doesn't run the ball at all. The most important part is, does my team have more points than your team? That's what I'm worried about. All those stats are secondary, even though when we get to the final segment of the show, I will see. I will see whether or not my quarterback is good enough and has led them to a win. Some say Mahomes, and Michael vouch for me. And I'll get to that other comment as well. Some will say Mahomes owns the Giants or owns the Eagles. I'm sorry. Um, Mike, can you remind me who won that uh, that game last year? That Monday night football game? Wasn't it the Eagles? Okay. Yeah, I thought so. Now, yeah, that was 2 years ago. Um, But I will say this, and Decoy says, I could remind you who won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Now, I could say the turf was worse than Vet Stadium. It was worse than playing on a sheet of ice. I could complain about that. I'm not, because both teams had to play on it. It was just that the Eagles did a little worse with keeping their feet. I could say that I could say it was that call near the end of the game of Super Bowl 57. If you're talking about the Arizona turf, never never been inside the stadium. If you're talking about the Vet Stadium turf, I haven't played. I had never been on the Vet Stadium turf. I've heard, yeah, I remember all the stories there, but but I will also say that um, you know, the turf is, but going back to about winning the Super Bowl 2 years ago, the phantom call that some Eagles fans will say, some thought it was pass interference and ended up being a hold. I said to my buddy, and Michael vouched for this as well. I said when that holding call was called, I said that's a hold, game over. I may be an Eagles fan, but I am very realistic. Mike has also seen my shows. He has also seen me pick against the Eagles a couple of times. Now, I don't know if Mike viewed that show before week 4 of the regular season with injuries and everything else that the Eagles had, and also the hurricane that went through, the fact it was 95 with 95% humidity. I told him, and Mike's vouching for me again about the holding call. I do occasionally pick against my Eagles. Sometimes it's so that I can be wrong for the satisfaction of winning a game. But even though I am an Eagles fan, I do have, I do, I am really realistic about things. And he says, what's crazy though? What's that? Tell me, please. So we are getting into the rings thing. Now, granted, I think there's only 2 Eagles on this year's team that played on the Super Bowl 52 winning team. Um, if we talk about NFL championships, and Tom Brady has more rings, but yeah, we kind of beat him with Big Dick Nick. Um, but the thing is, and the media forgets about this as well. Three-peats have happened in the NFL. It's just not in the Super Bowl era. A lot of people forget. A lot of people forget that the NFL existed pre-Super Bowl. Green Bay won 3 in a row. Two of them were the first two Super Bowls, which weren't even called Super Bowls back then. They were called World Championship of American Football or something like that. The first game that was actually called a Super Bowl was Super Bowl 3, and kind of like what I think they're going to do with what Major League Baseball is going to do with the Athletics, if they do make it to Vegas, they're going to retroactively call them the Sacramento A's for 3 years. What the NFL did was they retroactively called the game the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 1 and Super Bowl 2, even though it wasn't technically a Super Bowl. I understand what the media is saying because it hasn't been done in the NFL in 60 years, 55, 60, whatever. Let's just use 60 because it's a nice round number and has a zero on the end. When I give my pick, it's not about Eagle fandom. My pick will be based upon what I think. And I really think that the Eagles do have a great shot. And, I mean, I don't agree with the Westgate Superbook, who said yesterday or Tuesday that they thought the Eagles are going to be favored in the game. It's not happening. There's no way that line is moving 2 points, 2.5 points, depending on what book you look at. But the Eagles have won 4 titles. It's just that, especially loser Cowboy fans, loser Giants fans, loser Commander fans, they'll say, "Oh, you only won one Super Bowl." And what's funny is, and we're going to leave Dallas out of this because they didn't come into existence until 1960. The Eagles, the Giants, who you're citing there, and the Commandos, they all won NFL championships pre Super Bowl. You will see it behind one of the end zones at the Meadowlands. You'll see it at the you will see it in Landover where Washington plays. And the thing is, Washington hasn't been in a Super Bowl in 35 years. The Giants haven't been there for almost 15. Um, you know, if you look at the Commanders, if you look at the Commanders and the Giants, they recognize those championships as well. A championship is a championship is a championship. I will ask this question because you want to say things don't count. The Chicago Cubs won in 2016. Their previous championship was 1909. What you're telling me is that the Chicago Cubs World Series in 1909 doesn't count? And that's where I shake my head harder than Michael J. Fox. That's where I shake my head harder than Michael J. Fox. because that's why I say, you know, winning, a championship is a championship. It doesn't matter. It's just that formats change over the years. I mean, you look at the NHL, they've changed their format so many times, but now Howie Roseman, he speaks with RC Buford from the Spurs all the time. He also speaks with Brian Cashman. Um, Cashman um, was part of the Yankees' last repeat. So, Roseman said he thinks Cashman does a tremendous job. He's a guy in the big city. The New York passion for baseball is like our passion in football. Um, Cashman was reached by phone on Tuesday, and while his NFL loyalties are with his hometown Giants, he said they shared appreciation, him and Roseman, for learning from the other's successes and failures. Cashman said, I think it's extremely important to be humble and recognize that you don't have all the answers to anything. You always seek higher ground in assessing if somebody's doing something better than you in some capacity. For you to drill down and to find out, whether it's athletic training side, analytics, how to communicate with your coaching staffs or your scouts, how you deal with challenges. They talk a lot on the phone, but they've also spent time together as well. Cashman observed the Eagles' operation in Philadelphia, and when the team went to Tampa for the wild card round last season, Roseman had lunch with Cashman before the game. Cashman has other similar friendships in sports, including with Buford, Brooklyn Nets GM Sean Marks, Islanders GM Lou Lamoriello, Arkansas basketball coach John Calipari, even coaches in the Premier League and Aussie rules football. So, that's one thing you can remember. You know, you can, you know, if you build the relationships, you know, and like I say to you guys, like whenever you're down in the dumps or whatever, if one person doesn't help you, there's always somebody else that will. And maybe the person you least expect it to be. And we're going to go down this rabbit hole. Let's get down to the real business, LeBron or MJ. No doubt about it, MJ. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Now, if baseball didn't go on strike, if if baseball didn't go on strike in 90 end of 94 beginning of 95, guarantee you Jordan may have stayed in baseball. But because he didn't want to deal with crossing picket lines or anything like that, he went back to baseball. And then he came back and he won 3 in a row again. The difference between Michael and LeBron, plain and simple, he didn't go chasing. He didn't go to other cities to win a championship. Michael stayed in Chicago. Also, Michael didn't get coaches fired year after year. You can argue Doug Collins, but Phil Jackson was there for many years. LeBron has gone from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland, and to LA. Michael didn't have to worry about building a team. He didn't have to worry about he didn't have to worry about coaching a team. He didn't have to worry about all the bullshit that LeBron spews to everybody. Plain simple. If LeBron knew how to build a team, Michael never lost in the finals as well. I was steering clear of that because that's beyond fact. If LeBron knew how to build a team, his son would be in the G League sitting on the bench there. Plain simple. He's not an NBA player. And if he was a father with good sense in terms of basketball knowledge, like you're calling him the best GM in the history of mankind for the most part, because he knows how to build a team, he would have told his son, after having cardiac arrest in the summertime, he would have told him, stay in college another year. And the only reason why he got drafted, Bronny, is because he had his dad vouch for him. There was nepotism involved. MJ didn't have to worry about the Golden State Warriors, but he did have to worry about the Detroit Pistons. He also had to worry about his GM being a total asshole. You know, they wanted to spike the GM. But LeBron is a game, he's always a game away from being out for the season. Last year's Pistons, yes. This year's not as much. But because Decoy says Bronny might be better than everyone on the Pistons team or the Pistons teams from the 80s and 90s. But so before I get to my picks, I found an interesting article on CBS Sports that is worth mentioning. So the stage is set, as we all know, for Sunday. Eagles and Chiefs, Jalen Hurts against Patrick Mahomes, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. They played 2 years ago. We all know what happened, even though Decoy thinks I forgot. Now, with the win in this year's Super Bowl, Kansas City will win 3 in a row, which hasn't been done in the Super Bowl era. But lazy media, lazy journalists will say it's never happened before. But what they need to do is add 4 words or 5 words in the Super Bowl era. They need to add those 5 words. Sorry, I'm a stickler for shit like that. So Kansas City, depending on the book, because some books have Kansas City -1. Kansas City is favored by 1.5 according to the latest 2025 Super Bowl odds, according to CBS Sports. Um, Now they said it's down half a point from the opening line, which is not true. It started at 1.5 because I sat here 2 Sundays ago and looked to see what it was. It was 1.5. It quickly went to 2, went back to 1.5. Some sports books and apps you can get it Kansas City -1, Eagles +1. I don't know what they're using for a sports book here, so we might have a little difference between the sports books. And also, This was posted earlier in the day as well. Kansas City are -123 on the money line, and for those that don't know what that means, is you have to bet $123 to win 100, or that gets that rate gets fixed depending on what you bet on the game. And the Eagles are +104 underdogs on the money line. Um, then that means if you bet 100 on the Eagles and they win, you get your $100 back plus 104. So so CBS has a partnership with Sportsline. They use an advanced NFL model, and it has revealed the exact NFL score prediction in Super Bowl 59, which could mean a huge payday of over 200 to 1 if it hits. Now, granted, I don't think it's going to be this exact score, but it would not surprise me. So what their model does is they simulate every NFL game 10,000 times. So it isn't just lazily just simulate the game one time. Oh, this is our prediction. Uh, their model is up well over $7,000 for $100 players on top rated NFL picks since its inception. The model enters the 2025 Super Bowl on a 31-15 betting hot streak on top rated NFL picks this year, a stunning 67% success rate. Longer term, their 211 and 143 roll on top rated NFL picks that dates back to 2017, and a 65-36 roll on top rated picks since week 7 of 2022. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to verify their information. The model also ranked its top 10 on NFL Pick Watch for the past 6 years on straight up NFL picks and beat more than 94% of the CBS Sports football pick'em players 4 times during that span. Um, Anyone following its sports books and betting apps has seen strong returns at their sports betting apps. So, what do those computers think? They simulated this game 10,000 times, and they have locked in the exact score prediction and spread and total and money betting line picks. First, I'll give you the over under. And when we get to my prediction, I'm in the opposite direction here. The pick off of 10,000 simulations is over 48 and a half. And the over has hit in 54% of the model simulations. But with a very close game like this, that number isn't going to be as strong as other years. when you got a 1.5 point spread. Against the spread, the pick, according to CBS, is the Eagles plus 1.5. And that has the Eagles have covered this in 54% of the model simulations. When it comes to the money line, the pick is the Philadelphia Eagles at plus 103 or 104, whatever, depending on the sports book that you use. The Eagles win in 53% of the model simulations. And the projected final score of the game, according to CBS Sports, is Eagles 27, Chiefs 26. I think that score's a little high, but that's just me. So let's get to my picks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the big wager, well, I'll call it the big wager until the end. And here they are. So what I'm going to do is I took a look through my picks here. I went through DraftKings and I found one wager that I couldn't find on DraftKings. I found it on BetMGM. Now, the one thing I will tell you is, if you go to the promo, well, let me do this first. Hold on. First thing I will tell you guys, I don't want the odds. So when you go to the main page, when you go to the main page of Bleacher Brothers, run your mouse over betting. You'll get the drop down. Go to promos. And if you're looking to add a sports book, Fliff, that's a sports book we've had recently added. And also Decoy, thank you for following me as well. I did not see that at first. I apologize. FanDuel, they have a promotion right now. Bet 5, get 200 in bonus bets if you win. BetMGM, you see that. DraftKings, Novig, that's a fun one that I've used. Thrills, Bet365. And I thought Fanatics we had one. Thought we had one. I thought we had a promotion for Fanatics as well. But one thing I will tell you guys as well. Let me pull this one up as well. Because the one thing I will tell you guys, plain and simple, when our leader, our president, our head honcho, whatever you want to call him, AJ, I always tell him something is not available in my area. So those that are watching on my YouTube, on the In the Bleachers YouTube, and on my Twitch, That link, that was not what I wanted. Um, that was not what I had hoped it would be. Let me try this again here. No, it's not doing what I wanted to do. All right, well, I got to do it this way. 1 second. Let me go over here. I think this is the one, right? Yeah, here it is. Okay, here is the link, everybody. That's the correct link. I apologize, I messed up the first time, especially on Twitch. That particular link that I have, you can go there and you can scroll down to your state if you have sportsbook gambling in your state or in Canada, even. And you can go there and you can go and see the different promotions that every sports book that we have a partnership with has. So if you click on that link, bookmark it because you may wait till Saturday, but I wouldn't wait too long. You can see what's going on here. So that's definitely something I would tell you guys to look into as well. So I'm going to pull up DraftKings, and that's only because I usually look through DraftKings for my wagers. So we're going to go to the NFL here, and I'm going to give you some props here that I like for this weekend. Um, let me see here. We're going to begin with the Super Bowl licks specials. I'm sorry, 59. And some of these I will have to find because of the fact that I was looking at them this afternoon. Thankfully, I put the category that they're under here, the subcategory stuff that they have here. Um, no, it wasn't the Swifty specials, not the trending. Um, where was it exactly? I have to find this here, so forgive me. Okay, here's the first one. I would not be surprised if this is more Kansas City that does this, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles try something like they do some sort of a halfback option off of the tush push that turns into Dallas Goddard going deep. But I think it's more Kansas City that will have a wide receiver or Travis Kelsey or a running back throwing a pass. So my first one is I think we are going to see somebody other than the two starting quarterbacks throwing a pass here. And that is at plus 180 that that over 2.5 players will throw a pass in the Super Bowl. That's my story with that. I'm sticking to it. So Um, Forgive me, I'm setting things up here because I'm actually uh, posting my bets as I go along here as well. So that's the first bet. Then we're going to go with special teams miscues. So let me find that here. Um, and like I said, I do have to find these. I have them all written down. It's just a matter of finding them. Um, let me find it here. And I do apologize for this because some of these I just have to find, and it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. Passing props. No. Um, Here it is. Special team miscues. Any kick to hit the uprights. I'm saying that this is going to happen to Jake Elliott. Michael vouch for me on this. Jake Elliott has not been that great with his kicks this year. So as a result, I'm going with um, Jake Elliott to hit the uprights at plus 550. And maybe Harrison Butker as well, but I think it's more Jake Elliott than it would be Harrison Butker. Um, Passing props. There we go. I feel like this could be both guys throwing an interception in this game. Now, the one good thing that you have about DraftKings is that they put the average interceptions per game here and they put these averages in there. I think even though the the scores do even though it does tell you that Patrick Mahomes is more likely to throw an interception, I think that's what's going to happen because he's facing the number one defense in the NFL, and the Eagles have had 10 takeaways in 3 games. The Chiefs are a -1 with one fumble. The Eagles have no offensive turnovers, and they have taken the ball away 10 times. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to throw an interception in this game, and that is my third pick here so far. And that is Patrick Mahomes to throw at least one interception at plus 113. So let me go over here. Okay, so those are my first 3 picks. I'm going to clear the screen here. Next up, we will go to rushing. Um, I will gladly take that $5 from you, Mike, or something like that. We'll figure it out. Rushing props. I I really didn't like anything here. Just me. Now the rushing props. I really like Saquon to have a big game. And this may be a game where Saquon gets held in check most of the game, and the way that the Eagles offensive line just pounds the defensive line all game, I would not be surprised if Saquon Barkley has a late 40, 50-yard touchdown or a 40, 50-yard run to get over this total. But I am saying Saquon Barkley to get over 120 yards rushing, 120 or more at plus 114. Um, they are hitting this hard because this was defaulting on 110 yards. It's now defaulting at 120. It was 121 plus 121 this afternoon. It's now down to 114. So that is my next pick. Let's go to defensive props. And you got all these props. So one thing I would say is if you're a person that likes to play the props, especially on a day like this on Sunday, you know, take the time to look things over. You might see something you'd like that I don't. So remember that interception I said earlier? Mahomes is going to throw one. He's going to be throwing that at Quinyanamo Bay. And Quinyon Mitchell will get that interception at plus 700. He has 2 interceptions in the postseason. Those are both his interceptions. So I think Quinyon Mitchell gets that interception. Let's go to special teams here. Um, Now, I get the feeling this is going to be more Butker than it's going to be Jake Elliott. Because Jake Elliott has been horrible at field goals over 50 yards this year, which has really been weird. Um, I personally think, I could just say, just play both of these and be done with it, and you'll get at least one. I'm not doing that. I'm playing it safe here. With a 5% vig, I'll take this chance here. I say yes to over 47.5 yard field goals, over 47.5 yards on a field goal. And also note, and sometimes you have to read the fine print. Note that if there are no field goals in this game that are made, the bet is void. So if you're going to your sports book, a brick and mortar sports book, or if you're going to uh, bet on DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, whatever, you're going to see something like that in the fine print there. So those are my so that is my special teams prop. I'll clear that again. Um, the novelty props. And one thing I will say is when you look at this, you have the the easiest one to win, easiest one to lose, because you can go heads, you can go tails. It's the easiest one of the thing, and a lot of people still have it wrong. Now, there is something in the way that they test these. They did a test, and but this is a special coin that they're going to use, so this is probably going to be thrown right out the window. If you're using a typical quarter, the top is heavier than the bottom, and that's why you have tails a little bit more than heads, even though you figure it's got to be 50-50. Now, I'm tailing Mike on this, which probably means it's going to end up heads. I'm going with tails as well here for the coin toss outcome. Um, Now, I think that this is an available wager in Pennsylvania, so we're going to run with it here because this is just uh, a point that we're going to do here. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to go to the DK squares. I am going to ride with any quarter with Eagles 1, Chiefs 7. Now, what that means is if the score is Eagles 21, Chiefs 17 in any of those four quarters, that will be a winner. So I'm going with 1-7 to hit at any of the four quarters at plus 1600. So I am using that as well. Now, what I'm going to do as well here, I'm also going to tail Eagles 1, Chiefs 7 as well, if I can find it here. There it is. And like it explains here, if it's 21-17 Eagles at the end of the game, I would be a winner here. I'm going with that at plus 4,000. So that is my second DK squares. Um, so let me go here. I'm not going to do first drive. I'm not going to do first of the game. I'm not doing Super Bowl MVPs. I'm going to go with the alt lines first quarter, an alternate spread here. I personally think when you look at this, remember earlier in the year, the Eagles could not score in the first quarter to save their lives. Over the last 2 months or so, since they got back from that Cincinnati game, they have been scoring a ton in the first quarter. And it also helps that in the Green Bay game, for example, they ended up winning the first quarter most of those games. I just get the feeling that early on, the Eagles are going to throw the ball a little bit more. They're going to get the ball down the field. They are going to score in the first quarter. You may have Kansas City getting a field goal early on or something like that. So I'm not taking Eagles plus 1.5 here because no way I'm giving 87%, putting in an extra 87% to win $100. What I am going to do, I'm going to take the Eagles minus 1.5 at plus 155 on an alternate first quarter line. I feel that the Eagles are going to be leading the game after the first quarter. And since they're not giving me half a point, I'll take that point and a half. I'll take a chance here and I'll take that extra money back. So I'm going with the Eagles minus 1.5 at plus 155. And before I get to my Super Bowl pick, and I think Mike already knows where I'm going with it because I kind of revealed it on Monday night if he was paying attention to my one wager that's already in. Now I have to do this through I have to do this one through I have to do this next one through BetMGM because this is the only prop that I could not find on DraftKings that I found on BetMGM. And BetMGM is another partner with us at Bleacher Brothers. So, um, as soon as I find it, I will share my screen here. Mm, Um, and this may take a couple of seconds because it did take me that when I was going through this earlier on. Game. Um, Saquon specials. It wasn't that. Rematch. No. Spreads. No. I did find it here on BetMGM. I just have to find it here. So, game props. Is that it? Hmm. Okay, here it is. I found it. This is a prop that I've tailed a couple of times in the last 4 or 5 years. I've been unsuccessful, but I'm going to take a swing at this tonight as well. Um, and I'm going to blow this up here as well. So let me share my screen again. One thing, one prop that I tried to do and it didn't work was a punt down inside the 5 yard line. I say yes, it's going to happen. And at plus 200, a punt gets down inside the 5 yard line at plus 200. Okay, so we did that. And then I'll stop sharing BetMGM. And we will go back to DraftKings. And I have one last pick I have to give you. And I'm going to tell you one thing about this game. There are two keys to this game. There are two keys. First, I will tell you that, and I need to see something just to see if it's see if where they ended up 2 years ago. So let me go back here to NFL scores. Just checking one thing here. Okay. 2 years ago, the Eagles had a 35-24 ball of possession, time of possession advantage. I think that we could see that again on Sunday. I think if the ground game can get going, you have a couple of 5, 6 minute drives early on, you may see the Chiefs defense wear down. But you have to remember as well, if you think about it, the Eagles last Sunday or 2 weekends ago, they had the time of possession advantage by about a minute over Washington, which is very skewed because in the first quarter it was something like 13-2 Washington because they had a long drive. Washington had a long drive. They kicked the field goal. Eagles scored on one play. Washington ended up that way. So you look at the last three quarters, it was basically 28 to 16, something like that. You might have to get to about 37-23, 38-22, something like that. One thing that I have said to Mike, and I've said it many a times on this show, your best defense is a ball control offense. Now, I think in the beginning of the game, especially the first drive, I think you're going to see a play or two maybe have the first three plays, depending on if you get a first down right away, depending on what Kansas City throws. Because I think they're going to load up the box, especially on that first drive, especially the first set of downs. I get the feeling that you're going to see Goddard early. You're going to see Devontae Smith early. You're going to see A.J. Brown early. You're going to get a couple of plays where you're going to get these short passes and let them do their work to get the first down. I really think once you get the defense on their heels on that first drive, then you'll see Saquon. I think Saquon's going to have a big game. I really do. And I think that Dallas Goddard's also going to have a big game because the tight ends getting were getting yards and catches and all that against the Chiefs offense. Now, if you remember when I remember what I told you. Remember I said Eagles 1, Chiefs 7? Well, let me just say this. It's not going to be 21-17 Eagles. It's not going to be 27-21 Chiefs because that would mean the Chiefs win. I'll tell you right now, Plan for that parade in Philadelphia. Plan for a post game show around 10 o'clock here at twitch.com/Joe Quills or twitch.tv/Joe Quills because, as Bruce Buffer would say, the winner and new Super Bowl champions, your Philadelphia Eagles. This has the makings of Kansas City. This has the makings of Kansas City, Tampa Bay when Tom Brady won his seventh. Now, definitely, I am not comparing Tom Brady to Jalen Hurts. But the school district has a tough decision at 10 o'clock Sunday night. Do those kids go to school on Monday? Do we subject hungover teachers teaching our kids on Monday? Do we subject all that? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this is 21-17 Eagles as well, because I've been saying this time and time again that I would not be surprised if Kansas City loses a close one because of the fact, plain and simple, when it comes to the law of averages, you win all these one score games in a row, you're due to lose a one score game. So, my pick, even though it's not a one score game, this has a feel of Tampa Bay versus Kansas City in Super Bowl, what was it, 55? It was the COVID game, so whatever year it was, 4 years ago? Yeah, 4 years ago. This is almost like UNLV versus Duke. How are they going to react when they're down by more than a score in that final quarter? How are they going to react when you have a ball control offense that's wearing your defense down in that third and fourth quarter? They will not have an answer for Saquon Barkley. And I'm going to tell you right now, my eye doctor on Monday or Tuesday better call me and say, we have to reschedule your eye doctor appointment because there's some parade in Philadelphia on Wednesday, which may be not till next weekend because, as I said earlier in the show, the weather's going to be shit all next week. So I'm just going to say it now. Fly, Eagles, fly. If the Eagles do win like I'm projecting, and by the way, I did the math before the game. I had a couple of games where I just played props. If you're saying that I'm just picking the Eagles because I'm an Eagles fan, whatever. Say what you think. But I did look back. My picks this year are 11, 4, and 1. This isn't a guy who has no clue about the Eagles. And I've had those years, and Mike can vouch for that, where I had years where I had no clue what to think about these Eagles games. I am locked in this year. Two of those losses, I believe, one of the losses was a Dallas game because I just used that as a throwaway pick because, oh, they're playing in Dallas. They got to play a close game. At least I think it was. I'm 11-4-1. I'm 2-0-1 in the playoffs. Aunt Viv, make sure that parade is going up Broad Street to the Art Museum because it's time to party like it's 2018. Because my team, my town, my Philadelphia Eagles will be Super Bowl 59 champions. And that is what I'm going with here tonight. Now, in an ideal situation, I would not have given out that pick till Saturday. Now, I probably should have waited on that pick till Saturday so I can give it to you so that more people will watch Also Eligible, which is at 10 a.m. on Saturday. And we'll be looking at Tampa Bay Downs, who has 4 stakes races, including the Sam F. Davis, which will be a 20-point race for the winner of that race. And I just got to say one thing. Don't care what people think about my team. We're going to party like it's 2018. And we're going to have a parade in Philly next week. It may not be till the weekend. Well, maybe not even that. If the weather is as bad as they're saying right now for next week, you're looking at the the parade being delayed big time, unless they do it in the snow, which I doubt. But get ready, Philadelphia. Philly police, state police, fire, be ready for Sunday night because the Philadelphia Eagles will defeat the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. And Mike, I still have your picks here on my sheet of paper here. I still have that sheet of paper, and we'll keep track of that on Sunday as well. So that is going to be it. And like Mike says, fly Eagles fly. Thank you to Bank Boy for joining me tonight. Decoyed, even though he was a Kansas City Chiefs fan or just a plain Eagles hater. We also had Brendan in here as well. And we'll be back on Monday. Definitely. I'll be on for Also Eligible on Saturday. And we may be here after the Eagles game, after an Eagles win. So I do appreciate everybody watching tonight. I do appreciate everybody watching and following my picks throughout the year, and seeing that nice comeback I had in the last 2 months, and hopefully December, Jesus Christ, hopefully February will be a great start to a new month in the Philly Fade. So that's it for now. Do appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. And I will see you on Saturday, hopefully Sunday night, and definitely on Monday night. So have a great night, everybody. Thank you for watching the Joe Quills Show, part of Bleacher Brothers. And let me give myself one of those because I've been talking way too much. Go Birds. And I will see you on Saturday morning. And I'll see you in the winter circle, everybody. Good night, everybody.